now.
Shared equity home buyer, is it a helper or a hindrance? Stay tuned, we're going to talk more about it.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Even when you say 2% loan, it sounds too good to be true. 2% deposit, it sounds too good to be true.
It does, doesn't it? I am a little bit dubious about this because it just does sound like one of those offerings that is too good to be true. Is it too good to be true?
You came up in the meeting yesterday. We went to look at a brand new property that we got for sale in DY. Beautiful units, incredibly large, brand new units. 835 for a one bedder plus a sunroom. 1.15 for a two bedder, 1.45 for a three bedder. And Xanth, we all, as a sales team, turned and looked at you and said, "You should buy this." And you went, "Oh, really? Why?" 2% deposit. How do you do it?
Well, that's very true. That definitely did happen. And yeah, so we got talking about purchasing my very first home within this brand new complex across the road. And to help me get my foot in the door, there is something available from the New South Wales government called the Shared Equity Home Buyer Helper.
That's that's easy to remember.
It's a bit of a mouthful. No, Shared Equity Home Buyer Helper, where if you are eligible, whatever that word is, if you meet the criteria, the government would pay up to 40% of a brand new dwelling's mortgage or up to 30% for an existing home of covering your mortgage costs. And all you would need is a deposit of as little as 2%. 2%.
It sounds weird and it sounds too good to be true. It's been recently introduced where a part that gets me with this is that instead of buying with my sister, brother, cousin, uncle, I'm buying with the government. And they're going to own 40% on a new property and they're going to pay 40% of the mortgage, but they're not going to live with you.
No, you're getting into bed with them, but not getting into bed with them. They're just covering that portion of the mortgage to help first home buyers, to help single parents, to help survivors of domestic abuse get their foot in the door and purchase their very first property.
Now, you're dubious about this.
Well, when you have an offering that's so good to be true and it's also paired with the government as well, that does get my mind racing a little bit. What aren't they telling you about this? Is it actually something that's viable? Me getting into bed with the government, is this a good thing? Or am I going to hurt myself in the long run?
I think Glenn from the office referred to communism when he heard about it.
Of course he did.
It was like, that's like communism when they own your property and you live in it. But let's just break this down really simply for people. The government knows that if they can help you into a property, they are not going to have to help you as much in retirement.
Yes.
If they can get you in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, there's going to be less pressure on the system that you're going to put on. So they want you to invest, they want you to buy, and they know property is a great asset. Yeah. So, having said that, Xanth, what are the qualifications? So okay, let's just say, so for example, across the road, it's $835 for a brand new property. 2% is a $16,000 deposit. So I've got a $16,000 deposit. What else do I have to have as a first home buyer to buy this brand new property across the road? I've got to be a key worker. Oh,
Well, you do have to, yeah, you've got to meet some of their criteria. So you have to be over 18 years old.
yep.
To be eligible, you mustn't have owned land or property before. So this would be your very first home.
Yes.
You could be a single parent,
Yes.
older than 50 years.
Yes.
Another one of their criteria that you could meet is being a key worker, and key workers cover those employed as an early childhood teacher, a nurse, midwife, paramedic, or police officer. So if you fall within that category, you're eligible, or a survivor of domestic violence or domestic abuse.
Okay. So, if you fit into any of those characteristics, where it used to come undone is you could jump in with your deposit, you could get the grant. Bear in mind, you're not going to be paying stamp duty here either.
Yep.
But the fundamental difference with this is that your repayments on a new property, for instance, or a second-hand property, it's 30%. They'll go partnerships in with you up to 30% on a second-hand property and up to 40% on a new property. The nice thing there is this is the first time they've reduced your mortgage repayments per month.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's effectively like you're enjoying an $800,000 on this example we've been using the whole way along. You're enjoying an $800,000 home, but you're only paying for a 8 times 4, 3.
Look at that brain ticking over.
You're only paying for a $550,000 mortgage to live in a brand new place. Now, that's pretty attractive. Now, but I guess they do want their money back.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you need to be able to service your portion of the mortgage. You need to be able to cover your own costs of the conveyancer, meeting with your broker, making sure you do tick all of those boxes. Bless you again. But yeah, absolutely. The government do want their money back eventually. And where will they get their money back? Not in a rush. Real estate it's a long-term game. They'll get their money back once you eventually sell that property.
Once you decide, they'll get their proportion.
Bless you again. Gosh, you've got a reaction to Anthony this morning.
Oh my God, it was that word eligibility.
Eligible.
So before we go, very hot, 2% deposit. Repayments is 40% less than what they regularly be. You can enjoy the entire property. When you sell it, you have to give back that 40% plus the profits on that 40% of capital growth. You can stay in as long or as out as long as you want, or get out as quick as you want. You have to be fit that eligibility of over 50 or key worker, or and you have to be over 18, or in domestic violence, or a single parent. There's a couple of categories there, but I think people are going to be able to get into a fantastic suburb, and their repayments are going to be I would say if it's going to be 40% less, it's going to cost you less to do this than to rent that same property.
Oh, absolutely. I think that this is such a really good, strong offering to those who are struggling to get their foot in the door, especially in Sydney at the moment, where if you don't have the bank of mum and dad, if you don't have a super high salary, you do struggle to get that deposit, to get your finances over the line, just to get your foot in the property door. If this is something that can help you get in the property game, then absolutely, I would sit down with whatever broker you're talking to and really go through the motions to see if you can get this offering to help you with your property journey, because it really does sound like something that is super attractive, super helpful, and it's certainly something that I'm highly considering as well.
You just got to work out how you can fit into the cracks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm over 18 and that's tick one. Just, exactly.
Dan, thank you very much, guys and girls. Tell family and friends about this. It's a great offering, and often these first-home buyer incentives don't sit on the table forever. They come on the table and they get taken off the table just like that stamp duty thing that last year that they were doing, where you could pay stamp duty over time. It's now gone. So get in it.
Get in it, guys. Do it.
Love you. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Dan. Bye-bye.